My name is Jalen Ivy, and I'm going to be your host for today's matchup between Southern Maryland Hawks and the Howard Community College Dragons. Just a little bit of background information on the Hawks and the Dragons. The Hawks currently have a record of 2-1-1, and they are sitting at second in the region. And the Dragons are looking at a 0-1 record at the moment, sitting at fourth in the region as well. We currently have about 3 minutes left on the clock, counting down to the start of the match. Things are a little bit cloudy out here, a little bit rainy, but spirits seem pretty high on both sides.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dragon's Lair for today's game featuring the visiting Southern Maryland Hawks and your Howard Dragons. The National Junior College Athletic Association, Region 20, Howard Community College promotes good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Negative comments, profanity, racist, sexist, or other abusive comments or actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the facility. We thank you for your support and cooperation as we enjoy today's contest. And now let's meet the starters for today's game, beginning with the visiting Southern Maryland Hawks. Freshman number 2, Zoe Whitsett. Freshman number 4, Olivia Figueroa. Freshman number 5, Kylie Flint. Sophomore number 3, Madeline Minichino. Freshman number 9, Callie Barber. Freshman number 13, Megan Hinton. Freshman number 15, Brooklyn Levy. Sophomore number 17, Brooke Horton. Freshman number 20, Sophia Larson. And freshman number 22, Alexis Quirky. Hawks are coached by Richard Mendes, assisted by Nick Morgone. And now, the starters for your Howard Dragons. Freshman number 2, Ashley Osorio. Freshman number 3, Akuzali Hernandez. Freshman number 5, Lucy Segovia. Sophomore number 7, Morena Castillo. Freshman number 9, Jocelyn Ortiz Cruz. Sophomore number 11, Giselle Castillo. Sophomore number 12, Melissa Viatoro. Freshman number 15, Kimberly Ruano. Sophomore number 17, Jacqueline Navarro. Freshman number 22, Genesis Barrow. And in goal for the Dragons, sophomore number 38, Olivia Jackson. Howard is coached by Jose Benitez, assisted by Michael Dinner.
At the start of this matchup, the Hawks are looking to have the Hawks are actually looking to have Natalie Chavon in the box for them. She's sitting currently at a .900 for the season in saves. And the Dragons will remain with Olivia Jackson sitting at which she actually attempted a season high of 16 saves that she earned against the Knights of CCB Essex and is sitting at a .825 with a total of 47 saves for the season. So the Hawks and Dragons are taking the field, and the first half is about to be underway. And we're off.
Guys, can you go that way?
The Hawks start out early in the game. That ball kicked out of bounds by the Dragons. Oh, sorry, excuse me. The ball kicked out of bounds on the Hawks. And that'll be good for a Dragons corner kick. Dragons remain in possession of the ball. And a shot by number 9, Yaslin Ortiz Cruz, goes just wide of the net. A little bit of a slow start on both sides of the game for the Dragons and the Hawks. And that's a foul on the Hawks. For Howard's throw-in. Hawks making their way down the field on the near side. Just tripped up a little bit. And that'll be out of bounds for a Hawks throw-in. That's Barber with the ball. Makes her way towards the goal. And a shot just shy of the goal is in the hands of Olivia Jackson, Dragons goalkeeper. Hawks making their way back down the field. Looks for number 13, Megan Hinton. That's a shot for 22, just shy of the goal, goes wide to the left for the Hawks. Number 22, Alexis Corcoran, doing her best to find an open shot early on in the game. Only about 5 minutes have been counted out into the on the clock, but yet again finds its way just shy of the goal and back into the hands of goalkeeper Olivia Jackson.
Zoe, now we get wide. Zoe, Zoe, now we get wide. Now we stretch it out. It's our ball. Zoe, get wide.
As stated before, the Hawks are currently sitting at 2-1-1 on the season in the region, with a loss to West Virginia to Potomac State College 3-1. A win against Garrett College 4-1. A win against Frederick Community College 3-0, and a tie with CCB Essex. Similar to that of what the Dragons find themselves with, also landing themselves in a tie with CCB Essex 1-1. Have another throw in for the Hawks on the near side. Yet again into the hands of Jackson. And she'll kick that down to the middle of the field. And that'll go out of bounds for a Dragons throw in. We'll have a free kick for the Dragons, and that's saved by Natalie Chavon, goalkeeper for the Hawks. Mereda Castillo, number 7, was looking for a little bit of a handoff with number 13 for the Hawks. Excuse me, Hinton, number 13 for the Hawks. Trying to put things back into their possession. And they'll take things down the near side of the field. And that's saved by number 3, Zali Hernandez. The ball does go out of bounds for the Dragons, and that gives the Hawks an opportunity for a corner kick. Ball is sent in and shooted away by the Dragons. Looking to turn things around on the far side.
Come here, keep coming this way.
You go, Gil, keep going. Keep going. Take those center one, Kim. There. Take him in. Take him.
Number 7.
Take it forward.
Marina Castillo takes the ball. Hands it off to Kimberly Ruano, number 12.
That's you, Zoe. Don't let her go by you. Don't let her go by.
Dragons are doing their best to capitalize, going down the field. Kimberly Ruano has the ball. Does her best to get past, but just can't get past number 4, Olivia Megara of the Hawks. Dragons will remain in possession of the ball. Finding themselves over on the far side. Landing themselves a corner kick.
Get ahead on it. Come on.
Things look pretty spread out on the field right now in the box. But looking to remain in possession, the Dragons do their best and still are in possession. But the Hawks somehow get the ball back, going down the field to the opposite end. Hinton has the ball on the far side. Transfers it off to number 22. That first ball was saved just barely by Jackson. And another shot just goes wide to the left of the net for the Hawks. Jackson taking a little bit of time, hoping to reset for her team. Ball back into possession of Hinton. Gets past and is kicked out of bounds by Jocelyn Ortine Cruz.
Megan, left foot shot.
Hawks find themselves with yet another corner kick. Corner kick is in and is kicked out. And that'll be good for a Howard throw-in. And it's put back out of bounds by Olivia Magara for the Hawks. And that's a foul called for the on number 4, Olivia Magara for the Hawks. And that'll be good for a free kick for the Dragons. Dragons doing their best to find a way in. A kick by Ruana goes just wide of the goal and into the hands of Nicole Chavon. Natalie Chavon, excuse me, of the Hawks. Chavon will take a little bit of time. Sends it over to number 17, Brooke Portzin. And over into the hands of Castillo. Dragons sought to capitalize on that free kick, but is saved by Natalie Chavon. Jacqueline Navarro playing great defense on this near side. That'll be a Dragons throw-in. And it'll land right into the hands and that'll be a free kick for the Hawks, sent in by Portzin. But it'll go back into the possession of Vara for the Dragons. Looking to find their way down the field. And it's a battle back and forth by Kimberly Ruano.
Inside now, kid. Come on.
There's another opportunity opening up for the Dragons with the corner kick.
Be hungry. Come on, kid. Be hungry. Come on.
Bodies piled into the box. Tried to be headed on. And Castillo tries her best to... Navarro tried her best to land that shot in, but it found its way into Chavon's hands. A bit of a battle on the Dragons' half. And And that ball gets just past the defender for the Hawks. Dragons find their way back with possession. Castillo taking her way down the near side of the field. Looking for Ruano. And it just goes out of bounds. The Dragons find themselves with yet another corner kick on the near side of the field that'll be sent in by Villatoro. A number of bodies inside the box waiting. Shot goes in, and it's almost kicked in. Barber did her best to find an open shot on the field, but just went wide on the left side of the goal. Both sides have definitely been doing their thing, looking to capitalize on a lot of attempts, but unsuccessful for both sides. That ball was headed on by Alexis Corcoran of the Hawks, and that'll be sent right back out to Jackson. To be kicked out about midfield, over back into the possession of Castillo. Looking for her teammate, Kimberly Ruano. She takes her talents on the field and is back into the hands of Natalie Chavon. This ball is going to be thrown in by the Hawks. Looking for a teammate, number 9, Barber. Now she's going to take her time to throw it in. And that ball gets to teammate Zoe Whitsett, but goes just out of bounds. That ball going to be thrown in once again by Barber. She finds her over to the goal with a long shot, back into the hands of Jackson. It's becoming a very cold and chilly day out here in Columbia as the time continues to go down into the evening. And we do have a bit of a crowd out here, so happy to see that people are coming out to the games. Hopefully everyone's over there staying warm as we're trying to do our best as well in the box. Hernandez has the ball on the near side. Tries to get it to Ruano. Takes her time. Still in Ruano's possession. Castillo doing her best. Segovia did her best to battle back with number 4 of the Hawks, Olivia Magara. Ruano passing the ball to number 9. And that ball goes just high of the goal, hitting the top of the goalpost. Vara has the ball, passes it off to Ruano once again. But that shot is long and finds its way back into the hands of Siobhan. Dragons definitely getting a lot of opportunities to score in these opening minutes of the game, and is definitely doing their best to capitalize. But that ball is taken back down to the Dragons' half of the field, and it'll be good for a throw-in for the Hawks, and kicked back out of bounds by the Dragons. Zoe Witsa puts the ball in play with a throw-in, hands the ball off to Barber, and that ball goes back into the possession of Olivia Jackson for the Dragons. Dragons definitely seem to be taking their time, trying to utilize and capitalize on any moments that they can. Jackson sends that ball back down to the middle of the field. Ruano's looking to take it down on the far side, doing her best. Gets tripped up a little bit by number 4, Magara. And that ball does go out of bounds, but remains in Hawk possession. And that'll be an offsides call for the Dragons. We have a couple of subs going in for both the Dragons and the Hawks.
Hey, number 5, who you got? Number 5, who you got? Thank you. Maddie, who you got? Thank you.
Number 5, Kylie Flint will be going into the game for the Hawks. And number 24, Madison Kerr will be checking in to the game for the Dragons.
Entering the game for the Hawks, number 5, Kylie Flint, and for the Dragons, number 24, Madison Carey.
The ball currently remains in possession on the Dragons' far side. And they'll have yet another attempt and a scoring opportunity with a corner kick. Bodies piled into the box. And that ball is saved and into the hands of Siobhan. That ball is sent down the field by Whitsett. But just saved by Jackson. And that'll be yet another throw-in for the Hawks. Looking for a man. Zoe Whitsett has the ball. But that ball is kicked just out of bounds by Castillo. For yet another throw-in for the Hawks. Excuse me. That will actually be a corner kick for the Hawks.
Hey, Olivia, stay back.
That ball's in. And it's headed on by Whitset. But to no avail, she cannot come up with the shot. A number of bodies were piled into the box with that close call by Whitset. Ortiz Cruz, Barra. Dragons doing their best to continue play of the game at their pace. Looking down the field.
There it is.
Ruano with the ball. Trying her
Yep, that's it.
a long shot. A long shot by Castillo is back into the hands of Siobhan. A number of shots early on for the Dragons. Looking for an opening. Castillo with the ball. But that ball is put back into the possession of the Hawks. That ball sent down the far side, the near side. Back into the hands of Villatoro. She's finding her way. Kimberly Ruano. And it's kicked down to the middle of the field by the goalkeeper, Siobhan. And that ball kicked by Villatoro goes straight into the face of Brooklyn BB. We're going to take a brief timeout to be assessed. Allie Barber finds her way back onto the field for the Hawks. Hinton looking for an open shot, but it's blocked. Corcoran was looking for a teammate over near the box, but that ball just went shy of Zoe Whitsett. That ball is thrown in on the far side. And that'll be a foul on the Hawks. Excuse me, on the Dragons. That ball back into the hands, moving downfield. Ruano has doing her best to keep the pace of the game. Looking for any way to just get past the defender of the Hawks. But comes up just a little bit unsuccessful. Jackie Hernandez was looking for that ball to move back into the possession of the Dragons, but it will be good for a Hawks throw-in. And the Hawks remain in possession.
Our throw.
And that'll be a throw-in for the Dragons on the far side. Now to be a face-off with Portson.
Entering the game for the Hawks, number 15, Brooklyn Beebe.
Brooklyn Beebe checking back into the game for the Hawks as Ashley Cox will come out. And the rain is starting to come down a little bit out here. A little bit of a heavier drizzle in Columbia. Castillo hands it off to Ruano with a long shot. And that ball is just tipped out by Siobhan. That was a great look. A great look by Ruano.
Entering the game for the Dragons, number 18, Alicia Taylor.
You can slip up there, Jackie. You can slide in.
Taylor will check into the game for the Dragons. And with that ball tipped just out by Siobhan, the Dragons are looking at a corner kick on the near side. Ball kicked in. Doesn't find the head of any Dragon, but is kicked. Ortiz Cruz did her best, but that ball is stolen by Alicia Taylor, who just checked into the game and was already doing her best to find a way to help impact her team in these last remaining a little under 4 minutes left to play. Ball kicked to midfield by Jackson. Whitsett. And that ball was sent over to Barber. Sent back down to midfield to number 12, Villatora. And sent out of bounds by McGar for a Dragons throw-in. That ball thrown into number 9, Ortiz Cruz. And was handed back over to the possession of Villatora. And actually remains in possession to Navarro. Doing her best, but Barber found her way downfield. Jacqueline Navarro taking her talents down the field, but that ball is stole by Whitsett, who finds her way going down the near side of the field. Flint. Barber finds her way with the ball. Back to Whitsett. Looking for an opening. She takes a long shot, and it's saved. Now we're having a face-off with Barber. A minute and a half left to play in the first half. Ball sent over to Barber. She takes a long shot. And that ball is sent just out of bounds. Whitsett has the ball. Loses her footing a little bit. That ball is kicked over to Villatoro. Now Kimberly Ruano flying on the field. Loses her footing just a little bit, and that ball lands back into the hands of Hawks Portson. About 15 seconds left in this first half. Passed over to Portson. And that'll be the end of the first half for this Hawks and Dragons game. Both teams seem to be doing their best to operate on offense and have had multiple opportunities to score, but just came up short. And the score does remain 0-0 at the end of the first half. But we'll be right back after halftime. And we are just about to get started back shortly with about 15 seconds remaining. And again, I'd like to welcome you all, those of you who are joining us now and those of you who are still here. Welcome you all back to Columbia, Maryland for our matchup today against the Hawks of Southern Maryland and the Dragons of Howard Community College. We are just about to begin. And the second half of this matchup for the Hawks versus the Dragons is underway. Both sides seem to have a little bit of a pep in their step after that half. Starting out with a lot of energy as the Dragons find themselves taking things down their sideline in these opening seconds. Wissett finds her way going down the near side of the field, driving down toward the goal. And it's a bit of a hard tackle, and that foul goes on the Dragons. And that will actually be a yellow card. That'll be assessed to number 11, Giselle Castillo for the Dragons. A bit of a hard tackle on Wissett. And that yellow card will award the Hawks with a penalty kick. That'll be kicked in by Hinton of the Hawks. Olivia Jackson looks ready as she waits in the box. The ref signals for the penalty kick to be played. And that ball is just shy of the goal for the Hawks, hitting the lower right side. And that missed penalty kick keeps the score at 0-0 during this matchup, giving the Dragons a little bit of time to reset here, but the Hawks remain with the ball in possession of the ball. And that'll be a Dragons throw-in. That ball will find its way into the hands of Wissett, but we'll have a foul on the Dragons. That'll give way to a free kick for the Hawks. And that free kick is being kicked by number 2, Wissett. Bodies lined up on this free kick for the Hawks. The ball is kicked into the middle and is into the hands of Olivia Jackson. She'll send that ball back down the field on the far side, and it'll land into the hands of Madeline Machino. Back into the hands of Woodset, doing her best to fend off of the defenders of the Dragons, but to no avail. It finds its way out of bounds and still remains in the possession of the Hawks. A quick throw in to Barber. Back over to Hinton. Hinton remains in the possession of the ball. Over to Wetset. Back to Hinton. And that's a long shot for Hinton, but that ball is into the hands of Olivia Jackson. A lot of early shot attempts for the Hawks right now, keeping the ball on the Dragons' half of the field.
Kind of. Not exactly.
That ball back into the possession of the Dragons. Looking to find a man. They find Kibiruano. That ball is kicked back out, but finds its way into the hands of Zoe Witset. Have a one-on-one matchup with number 5, Segovia, but that lands her a yellow card. That yellow card is actually awarded to number 2, Witset.
The yellow card has been assessed to the Hawks. Number 2, Zoe Witset.
Giving the Dragons an opportunity for a free kick. Castillo will take that free kick. Close to the goal and into the hands of Siobhan. Castillo did her best to head on that ball, but was looking for a one-on-one matchup with Barber. Barber takes it down the field over to Hinton. Looking for Barber. In a close matchup just to the outside of the goalpost. That was a great fast break for the Hawks, looking to capitalize on that. But we're just shy of the goal. Headed on by the Hawks. Ruano looks to get a hand on ball. Over to Segovia. But got into the hands of Megara for the Hawks. Hinton finds her way around. Looking for a man. Over to Witset. Back to Hinton. On the outside. That'll be a hard tackle by Madison Carey on Hinton. Give her the foul. And that'll give way to another free kick at about almost the 18-yard line for the Hawks. That'll be kicked in by Corcoran. Kicked in, but is headed on by Hernandez of the Dragons. And it's over into the hands of Villatoro. Kimberuano finds herself down the field, but goes back towards the sideline of the Dragons by Megara. But back into the hands of the Dragons. Castillo looking for a man. Witset has it. Back to Barber. And Zali Hernandez kicks the ball over to the far side of the field, back into the hands of the Hawks. Lucy Segovia in the possession of Genesis Vara. Over to Yoselin Ortiz Cruz. Looking for Villatar over on the far sideline. And Ortiz Cruz gets just past Zoe Woodsett. But that ball is going to go back into the possession of the Hawks. Carey. Carey does her best. Henson. One-on-one matchup with Castillo. Takes a shot. And Jackson sends it just high at the top of the goalpost. And over on the backside. Hawks have taken about 2 shots on goal since the start of this half. That'll be a corner kick sent in by Barber. And it'll be out of bounds for the Dragons. Back over to the Hawks. For yet another corner kick. Corner kicks in low on the inside to Ashley Cox. She'll look for a one-on-one matchup with Castillo. Over to Barber. Past Castillo. But back into the hands of Cruz. And there was a little bit of a tussle with Cruz and Barber. But Woodsett seems to have gotten the ball as Cruz tried her best to pass it down the field. But that long shot by Woodsett is back into the hands of Olivia Jackson. Henson was trying her best to follow up on that ball, but came up just short. Ball remains in the possession of the Hawks. Barber has the ball. Looking for a man, but finds the Dragons on defense. And that ball is sent over to the near side. Taken away by Lucy Segovia. But Magara finds a way to bring it back inside. Dragons doing their best to find their way back down to the Hawks half of the field. That kick is put down the side of the field for Villataro. Sent over to Ruano. Tries her best to get past with a long shot, and that ball is just wide of the goal. Just wide of the goal to the right side. I think the Dragons are fine to be finding themselves back down on their half of the field. Hoping for a number of opportunities to make some more good shots. And that'll be a foul on number 7, Castillo. And that ball is kicked out over to Ruano. Finds her way down the near side of the field. Just getting past Magara. She had about a 2-1 matchup with Cox and McGar trailing her.
Entering the game for the Dragons, number 18, Alicia Taylor.
Alicia Taylor finds herself back into the game for the Dragons. Hawks trying to make their way back down the field. The possession of Barber. She kicks it over to Hinton. Zali Hernandez doing her best to chase down Hinton, and she makes a tough tackle that sends Hinton down to the floor, but it also earns herself a yellow card.
A yellow card has been assessed to the Dragons, number 3, Aquazali Hernandez.
And that yellow card on Zali Hernandez will earn the Hawks yet another penalty kick. And Hinton will be at the 18-yard line making that penalty kick for the Hawks. And that ball just into the net, the lower left side of the net for the Hawks, making the score 1-0.
Hawks penalty kick goal, scored by number 13, Megan Hinton.
Hinton seemed to take a similar shot earlier during the first PK that they were given to that lower right side of the goalpost. First one went just shy, hitting the outer part of the goalpost. This one found its way into the net somehow. Lucy and Megara with a little bit of a one-on-one matchup. The original call was for awarded the Dragons possession, but it looks like that call was turned over and is given to the Hawks. That ball is thrown in by Barber, but headed on by Jacqueline Navarro and back into the Hawks' possession. That ball will be thrown in again by Barber, looking for somebody to go to. She tries her best to throw it downfield, and that ball is headed out again by Villatoro. Looking for someone to throw it into. Barber looks down the field, looks around, tries to find her man Zoe. And that ball is headed out by Alicia Taylor. Things are just moving down the field at this point. Looking to get closer and closer to that sideline. Zoe has the ball. That ball is sent down the field by Hernandez. Cox looks for a man. Ortiz Cruz sends that ball back down the field towards their goal, and that ball is kicked out of bounds by the Hawks. That'll be a Dragons throw in by Ruano. Cox sends that ball down the field, but Vara takes control. Vara and Barber, a little bit of a matchup. Loses her footing a little bit, but finds her teammate Hinton. Hinton looking to find a way down the near side of the field, but just cannot get past Zali Hernandez. Hawks find themselves in possession once again.
Fresh, right? Right.
Barber looking to make an impact, but Var sends that ball right back down. Hernandez, excuse me, sends that ball back down the field. Villatoro looking for a man, looking to find a little way to wave down the field. Over to Ruano. Ruano sitting on that honor quarter, looking to find her way to the inside. That ball rose just out of bounds. The Dragons will take this ball out for a corner kick. Ball sent in. Blocked by Siobhan, but remains with the possession of the Dragons. But the Dragons are called offside. Dragons are called offsides, and that ball will be given to the Hawks.
Entering the game for the Dragons, number 11, Giselle Castillo.
Giselle Castillo has just entered the game for the Dragons, hoping to make an impact on offense. Bit of a matchup with Castillo and Minicino over in that far corner, but that ball is sent out of bounds.
Megan, we have two up top now. Kylie.
Ball back into the possession of the Hawks. Kylie Flint looking to make an impact with that ball back to the Dragons. Over into the hands of Ruano. Looking for an opening. But Kylie Flint. Castillo currently has the ball. Over to Ruano. Looking for an opening, and she sends a long shot into the hands of Siobhan. Charlie Hernandez looked for her teammates down the field in the hands of Lucy Segovia. Over into the hands of Ruano. That ball is just kicked away from them by McGar and Barber. Looking for Hinton, but kept in the possession of the Dragons. Game's finally back and moving down the field to the left side. Hinton and Zali Hernandez. A little bit of a one-on-one matchup, but that ball is sent out of bounds by the Dragons. Score still remains at 1-0 with 25 minutes left to play in the second half. And Dragons are looking for any way to capitalize on the number of shots that they have been taking. That ball is going to be taken out for a corner kick by Barber. A lot of bodies on the inside, looking for a body of the Hawks. And that ball is going to be touched by Olivia Jackson, but a little too high for a Corcoran. And that ball is saved by Jackson. Tremendous job by Jackson to save that ball, but it looks like she may be down. We may have to go to a timeout, and we are going to go to a timeout this time as the refs and our sports medicine teams assess her injuries. And Jackson is up for the Dragons. Taking a little bit of a walk down the field, trying to take her time.
Giselle. Just a quick one. So if you have somebody you can throw in for like a minute, then next time we can get her back out.
And we are going to do a quick change of the goalkeeper to get things figured out for Olivia Jackson. And that'll be number 11, Giselle Castillo, stepping in for the Dragons as goalkeeper.
Number 11, Giselle Castillo.
The rain has calmed down a little bit out here in Colombia, but the chill is definitely still present. But the game is back underway. Melissa Villatoro sends that ball over to Mereda Castillo,
Live.
but that ball finds
that
its
day was
way
insane.
outside,
You're,
out of
that was
bounds.
unreal.
That ball going to be over to the possession of the Hawks. Looking for Zoe. That ball is going to be kicked over to Zoe, who looks for a shot to the side of the goal, but is in the hands of Giselle Castillo. Castillo sends that ball down to the middle of the field. Ruano Ruano and Viatora were looking to come up with that ball, but Ashley Cox seemed to send that ball back over to her teammates. And Hinton has the ball currently, looking for her teammate Zoe. Woodside takes it over, but takes that long shot and finds itself on the outside of the goalpost. Castillo sends that ball low into the inside, over to Hinton. Hinton comes up with the ball, looking for a way around the defenders of the Dragons. Over to Zoe with set, trying to get past Carrie, but the Dragons seem to have come into possession of the ball. That ball goes right past Ashley Cox, but back to McGraw, number 4 for the Hawks. McGraw does her best to stay in possession of the ball. We have a little bit of a 2-on-1 defense going on right now. Headed on by Corcoran. Headed on once again by Corcoran. And is kicked low to the inside. Back into the hands of Viatora. Castillo finds her way, sends that ball down to the middle of the field, hoping for Kimberly Ruano to come up with it, but finds its way into the hands of Siobhan. Segovia has the ball up against Hinton in a one-on-one matchup, and that'll be a foul on the Dragons. Barber will take the free kick. That ball sent down the middle. Close into the hands, but into the hands of Giselle Castillo. The ball seemed to get past the Dragons for a second, but it seemed that they wanted it to get into the hands of Castillo to make a little bit of separation onto the field. Kimberly Ruano and Magara were battling back and forth. Now it's Barber and Ruano finding themselves down the outside of the field. But that ball is sent out by the Dragons, Kimberly Ruano, and in the hands of Barber for a throw-in. That ball finds its way to Jacqueline Navarro. Over to Viatora. Back over to Navarro. And Dragons did their best to capitalize on that throw-in. But that ball is sent back down the field. Hinton finding her way down the field for yet another one-on-one matchup with Zali Hernandez, but Zali Hernandez comes up with the ball. Cruz looking to find her way down the field, but that ball is kicked right between her legs by Whitsett. That ball is sent back down the field, trying to find her way to Jackie Hernandez, but that ball is kicked just out of bounds by Taylor. Jackson's finding her way back to the goal keep. And Giselle Castillo will return in her jersey for the Dragons.
Entering the game for the Hawks, number 6, Sophia Hart. Now in goal for the Dragons, number 38, Olivia Jackson.
Sophia Hart has entered the game for the Hawks with about a little over 18 minutes left to play in the second half. Woodside doing her best to get past the defenders of the Dragons. Gets tripped up a little bit. Over to Barber. Kicks it on the inside. Over to Cox. Cox looking for a man. But that ball is taken out by Castillo. Looking to take it down the field. Over to number 5, Lucy Segovia. But Barber gets a hand on it, and so does McGuire. Barber takes it back down the field onto the inside. And that ball is hit on the side of Genesis Vara. Hinton trying to find her way back down the field, trying to take her time, look for her teammate. And that'll be a foul on the Hawks. Number 5, Kylie Flint. After a little bit of a hard tackle. They're a little bit of a hard tackle since Dragons player down. Woodside comes up with the ball. That ball is kicked down to the middle of the field. Looking for Villatoro. Kicked out by Hinton to the right side. Trying to find a man in the middle, but doesn't come up with it. Carey comes up with it for the Dragons and kicks that ball out to the far side of the field for a throw-in for the Hawks. Madison Carey matched up with number 2 Woodsett. Looking to get past her. Looking for a man also to help just a little bit. Doing her best to find her way downfield. Woodsett. Over to Lucy. Magara. There. Lucy doing her best, getting over to Ruano. Magara making a fast break down the field to get over to Ruano as fast as she possibly can. Ruano still in possession with the ball, but now matched up with Barber. Barber comes up with the ball. Trying to find her way back down the field to her teammates. Cox takes the ball. Barber finds her way back down the inside of the field. Over to Corcoran. Finds Woodsett. Looking to make it. And that ball is hit right off of Lucy Segovia. Yet another fast break attempt for the Hawks. Another corner kick for the Hawks. Sent in by Barber. It's a high ball. Looking for the hands, but finds the hands of Olivia Jackson. She's going to take her time with this ball. Give her teammates a little bit of time to reset. They're having a little bit of laugh, too. Villatoro looking for Ruano, but that ball taps off of Ashley Cox and back into the hands of Larson. Back into the hands of Ruano. Ruano trying to find her way down the side of the field. Trying to stay on the inside and find an open man. Looking down the field, just taking her time. Open. She finds a little bit of an opening to her teammates in the middle of the field, but they come up just short. Ball remains in possession of the Dragons. Ball sent over to Castillo. And we will have a whistle, and Castillo goes down, grabbing her ankle.
Hold the 18, Brooke. Hold the 18.
Back on her feet. She gets back up to take the free kick. Game resumes. Castillo back into possession. Takes a long shot. And that ball lands back to the hands of Siobhan. Hinton looking to get past the defenders of the Dragons. Finding their way to Cox. Cox looking to get past the defenders of the Dragons. Henson and Cruz having a little bit of a face-off, and also with the height advantage, Cox and Segovia going back and forth with the one-on-one matchup. You have Magara. Jacqueline Navarro sends that ball right between the legs of Magara, but finds its way to last be touched off of the Dragons for a Hawks throw-in.
For the Hawks, number 20, Sophia Larson.
Larson enters the game for the Hawks. Barber looks to find a hand for teammates, but instead it finds the hands of Castillo. Mereda Castillo. We'll have yet another throw in for the Hawks. Looking for Hinton. Hinton looks around for a man. One-on-one matchup with Hinton and Vara. Hinton looking for a way around. Takes the shot, but it lands in the hands and is saved by Jackson. Whitsett looking to take the ball back down the field. That ball finds its way. Whitsett. Carey running right next to her. Back to the hands of Vara. Excuse me, Hernandez. That ball taken back down the field by the Dragons. But is turned over once again. Back into the possession of the Hawks. Viataro looking for Guano. But that long shot lands into the hands of Siobhan. Time beginning to wind down here into the second half with a little bit over 10 minutes left to play. Hawks currently in the possession with the ball on the far side. Corcoran looking to take a shot. That shot goes right into the hands, a little high, and goes into the hands of Jackson. A number of shots back and forth on both sides for the Hawks and the Dragons. And a bit of a hard hit by Magara on Lucy Segovia. Definitely seemed accidental. Just a little bit of a time, the way that it was timed, but definitely a hard hit. But she's up, walking, she seems okay. She's gonna take a second to come off. And number 18, Alicia Taylor will go in.
Alicia Taylor.
Rain's picking back up a little bit out here in Columbia, and Hinton has the ball down on the near side of the goal with two Dragons on her. Number 5 takes a shot. That was Kylie Flint with the shot that just went wide to the left side and found its way to the back of the net. Trying to look for someone to go to. Jackson sends that ball out. Over to Whitsett. Whitsett finds herself competing with two players of the Dragons. And that ball will be put out of bounds and stays with the Hawks. That ball is thrown in. Over to Corcoran. Looking for a man on the inside. Flint. And the Hawks let that ball go out of bounds as it rolls off of the Dragons. Barber will take the throw in. Looking for Larson. Larson keeps possession. Back and forth with Navarro. One-on-one matchup. Now it's to Barber. Matched up with Castillo. Back to Navarro. Almost into the hands of Jackson, who cannot come up with it. But she did. That will land the Hawks a corner kick on the near side. Barber will take that corner kick on the inside. Mid-height ball, but can't seem to find a Hawks defender. And that ball will go out of bounds and remain in possession of the Hawks. Whitsett will take the throw in. And that ball will be a long shot that finds its way right back into the hands of Jackson. The Hawks have remained in possession for these last few minutes. And continue to remain in possession as they move back down the field towards the Dragons' goal. Gabby Taylor comes up with it. Finds Castillo. The Hawks are not letting up on defense. Not one bit. That ball sent back over to Jackson. Looking for Jacqueline Navarro. But that ball is sent short and into the hands of Flint. A bit of a hard fall. That's going to be a foul on Howard. That foul goes to Medina Castillo of the Dragons. That'll be a long kick for the Hawks, but it back into the hands for the Dragons. Headed on into the hands of Ruano, who's matched up with Barber, going down the near side of the field, finding her way back on the inside to Vara. Kicks it out to the corner. And that ball will go out of bounds for the Dragons. A little bit under 5 minutes left to play in the second half of this match. And that's a goal kick. Dragons looking to move forward. Kick that's off of one of the Hawks defenders. Dragons looking to come up with the ball. Looking for Vara. Vara and Whitsett going toe-to-toe. Back to Vara. Vara and Whitsett, one-on-one matchup. Vara sends that ball back to Navarro. Over to we will have a whistle. And what I believe is a foul on Whitsett. Will reward the Dragons with a free kick. by Castillo, Giselle Castillo. That ball kicked by Giselle Castillo. And that ball just out of the hands of Siobhan Ruano. Looking to capitalize. And the Dragons are called for offsides. And that ball will be back into the hands of the Hawks. Dragons definitely had an opportunity there to tie this game up. But after that call, the Hawks remain in possession. Barber will throw it in. Looking for a quick throw in down the sideline. That ball is sent out by Navarro. Barber will kick the ball in. Looking for Hinton. Hinton finds herself on the left side of the goal. Looking for the inside man. Kick is sent over. Kick is sent over to Larson, who hits just high of the goalpost. Hinton seems to be looking for her first assist of the game. Matchup with McGarr and Vara. Ball put into possession. Ball put into possession of the Dragons. Cruz and Barber. It's a bit of a matchup. But the Hawks come up with it. Hit off the side of the Dragons. Hernandez doing her best to take it down the field. Castillo doing her best to send it down the field over to Viataro. Viataro matched up with Wissett off the side of Wissett and back into the hands of the Hawks. Castillo doing her best to take it back down the field. That ball goes out of bounds off carry, and it'll go back to the Hawks. Wissett with the throw in. And that ball remains with the Hawks. We will have a short pause with about 30 seconds remaining in this game to check on one of the players of the Hawks. And that ball will be thrown in. Castillo going down the sideline alongside Hinton. A bit of a scuffle, but that ball stays in possession of the Hawks. Hawks on the far right side, and we'll have an offsides call on the Hawks. And that is the buzzer, and that'll be the end of this matchup here in Columbia against the Hawks of Southern Maryland versus the Dragons of Howard Community College. Thank you all for watching. Continue to stay warm in this cold and rainy weather, and you guys stay safe.